today we're going to talk a little bit about Iconik and how to use it with a 100% cloud native editing suite. And what that means is that everything we're going to be doing today is all the compute and all the high resolution data is all living in the cloud. There's no proxies being used in anything we're showing today. And we're accomplishing that through one of our partners, Base Media Cloud. So we've got Michael and Damon on as well. They've been integrators for us since the beginning, have quite a few customers using Iconik, and then there's a few shared technologies they're going to talk about that enable this whole entire thing to work. So with that said, I'm going to toss it over to Michael with Base Media Cloud right now, and he can fill you guys in a little bit on what they do.
Cool, thanks, Mike. So I'm Michael Clayton. I'm a sales account executive for Base Media Cloud. Base Media Cloud is a fully managed cloud service provider for digital media companies. We're quite unique in the market. We use different cloud services that we have pre-integrated and provide them as fully stacked solutions with support. So I'll tell you a little bit more about the company. So as mentioned, we provide sort of out-of-the-box media solutions, managed solutions for media companies. We are media experts. So a lot of us have worked in the media industry before. I myself came from Pinewood Film Studios and was a technician there for 4 years. So I actually used Aspiron Cloud, which is one of the services that I'll show you today. They're sort of an accelerated file transfer tool and cloud storage hub. And then, of course, the money-saving aspects of cloud solutions. So a lot of companies have, they pay for a lot of money for office space to host servers, and servers are expensive. And in big cities like London, office space can get quite expensive. So moving your workflow to the cloud can definitely help with things like remote working and collaborating, as well as cost saving. It's obviously something very, very current topic right now in terms of a lot of people are remote working due to the current situation. And I think a lot of companies that had a forward-thinking approach to cloud services but hadn't quite got there, and now sort of realizing the benefits and obviously have moved a lot quicker into a cloud approach. So some of the customers that we provide services for there at the bottom, we have customers like Lad Bible and Little Dot Studios who have an Iconik system through Base Media Cloud. Little Dot, for instance, have used about 100 users per month since going into remote working, and the petabytes of data in our cloud storage. So just to go through the sort of business model of Base and give you a high-level overview of what the sort of thing is that we do. We like to think of ourselves as the cloud storage as a central hub for our customers, and then they can plug in all these different services on top. So our cloud storage is actually built on IBM Cloud, as you can see in the middle there. And we offer no egress fees, no API call fees, and no retrieval fees. What we like to do is we like to approach the customers and services, what do they need? And then we can pick like the right vendor for them. And we offer lots of different solutions. So from sort of left to right, you have backup, which means that you can do an automated sync from your local office directly into the cloud. And that can run every 5 minutes, every 3 hours, every day, whatever the customer needs. File sharing, again, we'll briefly show Aspiron Cloud, just showing how Mike sent me files to get it into my cloud storage before then scanning it into Iconik. Remote working, everything I'm going to be doing today is going to be inside a Bebop workstation, so it's fully cloud. Bebop are our sort of US partners, and it's a very, very clever technology, uses PCI IP technology with high performance disk tier storage. And you guys get to see me actually put an edit together inside a workstation. Media libraries, of course, Iconik, partner with them. We've got a lot of customers now on a Iconik instance, and that system seems to be getting better and better with every update. All these cool new features. Customers love it, and it's one of my personal favorites. And then, of course, we have things like distribution and branded channels that Base also offer. So I'm just going to hand over to Damon to introduce himself. He's kindly joined us for, he'll be getting involved in the Q&A at the end, but it'll be me and Mike mainly driving the demo. So I'll just hand over to Damon.
Thanks for that, Michael. Hi, everyone. My name's Damon. I'm the CTO at Base Media Cloud, and my background's in the analysis design of media asset management solutions in the cloud, and also workflow and workflow automation for companies in the media industries. As Michael said, I'll be sticking around at the end to help answer any questions that you have. So please do have a think throughout this. But in the meantime, we're all here to see remote editing in the cloud. So I'll hand back over to you guys. Thank you.
Cool, thanks, Damon. So I'm just going to share my screen again. And I'm going to start by showing everyone the Bebop Clients. So this is the desktop application that I've installed on my local computer. So I'm on a Mac. This is my screen for a local computer. As you can see, I've got a workstation here that's good to go. I've got another member of the Bebop team logging into a sales pod as we speak. The workstations normally take around 40 seconds to a minute to spin up. So you come in, you click on your workstation, it says it's spinning up, and when it goes green, you are good to go. It's just worth mentioning as well that Bebop does have its own accelerated file transfer tool here. It's got a Bebop ingest and download, which is something called, they call it Rocket. It's just another way of getting content onto your Bebop high performance cloud storage from your local machines. If I had any files local, I could just put them straight onto my cloud storage with ease. Today we're going to show you, Mike sent me files to Aspiro on Cloud. I'm going to have them scanned into Iconik, and I'm going to use the panel to actually import those into my editing suite. So what I'll do is I'll jump into my Bebop session, and I will go to Chrome. So I'm inside my workstation now. I'm fully in the cloud. My Bebop session dashboard is here. So this is where I mount my storage. I've got my app launcher. So what I've done is I've come in to get ready. I've launched Premiere, I've launched Media Encoder, and I've launched Chrome. Let me just use that. I've also got enabled the command key. Because I'm on a Mac, I might want to use the command key as I normally would. So I've just enabled that. And just to mention, there's another cool feature with Bebop called Over the Shoulder, where you can actually send a link out, an invite to have a producer or a director sort of connect in and watch your edit live while you're in the cloud. So you can get real-time feedback. So I'm into Chrome. I'm in my Bebop workstation, and I've logged into Aspiro on Cloud here. This is where my bulk of my data is coming in. I've basically come here and I've invited Mike to collaborate with me. So he submitted all of these files here before today, and then this morning he said, actually, I've got another file for you, 0028, and he uploaded it to the Aspiro workspace. And the way I invited him is I just invited him as a collaborator, typed in his email address, and said, you have upload permissions to upload to my cloud. It's as simple as that. He gets an email and then he just uploads the files. So it's nice and easy.
Yeah, and my side of that was very simple. I just got a web UI that launched and actually prompted me to install the Aspiro Connect client. I clicked OK, and then I literally just dragged all of those high-res, ProRes 4x4 files right onto my web UI and hit go, and then I walked away for a little bit as it transferred. And it wasn't too bad. We've got 60-something gigabytes of data from a consumer internet connection with that took 3-ish hours to transfer. So not too bad. And I do not have a fast internet connection. It's non-commercial. If you had any sort of decent, symmetrical upload, that would be cut from 3 hours probably down to about 15 or 20 minutes, realistically.
Cool. Thanks, Mike. So what we want to do now is we want to get this new file that's landed on our cloud storage, and we want that into Iconik. We want to make that into a proxy. We want it playable in the system. We can do all sorts with. For this use case today, I'm just going to download the high res. So I won't actually need the proxy for this demo, but I'll show you how we get that file in. So I'm just going to click scan, and it's scanning the cloud bucket. It's scanning a scan directory that I told it to. You can also set up ignore rules if there's any certain file types you don't want in, any certain folders you want excluded, all that sort of stuff. And Iconik is really good like that. It's really configurable, and then basically I only want to see what I want in my Iconik system. So now that I've hit scan, that will take not long at all. I can already see the file. That will start the transcoding process soon. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Premiere, and I'm going to create a new project. And then I'm going to put a little edit together for you guys. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm coming to my Iconik panel. I can see the file that's just recently been scanned in. That's great. I'm going to create a new sequence. If I can navigate, there you go. And I'm going to call it webinar 1. Fantastic. And then I can basically navigate through my Iconik collections to find the content that was on my Spiron cloud. So there you go, there's the new file, number 28. There are the other files that you saw on the cloud storage. So I can come in here, I can select all, and I can open assets. Now the other 7 are local to the storage. I put them on there before to save time for downloading. The other one's going to download the new file. So those 7 files are already there, they're importing. They're importing, they know they're on the local storage. They're importing, so they're here, and they're in my Iconik bin. And 028 is currently downloading. So what I can do now is I can make a start on my edit. So I want to find a video that I want to start with. This looks like a good starting point. So I'm going to set an in and out point here. And I'm going to drag that, and I'm going to put it on my timeline. Yes, I'd like to keep the settings the same. That's great. And I can put a little bit of music in here. Maybe just turn it down a little bit for purposes of the demo, because it's quite loud. Great, and then I can play back. So these are the 4K files now, playing back in the cloud. I'm getting seamless playback here. A minimum requirement of around 20 meg. I've got around 40, so I think for larger resolution files, for high quality files, you should have nearer 50 megabits per second playback. I've got around 40, and I'm getting a perfectly good experience here. It may not seem as great over a conference call over Zoom, but I'm getting a good playback, no drop frames or anything like that. So now what I'm going to do, I want to just carry on with my edit. So I'm going to put the Iconik logo over here. I'm going to add some default settings, some little crossfades. I want to see how that looks. Cool. So far, so good. So let's go to the next clip, see what else I can put in here.
And while Michael's doing that, I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of really explain what is going on here during this edit. So I sent from the US quite a bit of data over the weekend into a cloud bucket. That cloud bucket lives actually in the UK. We are now on Tuesday deciding to go into our edit itself. That data was already proxied and inside of Iconik. We imported a new file today, and we already have that high res available. And when Michael said earlier, I'm downloading that, he's downloading it. It's not really so much as a download as it is transferring it from a cloud bucket to an edit workstation's accelerated storage inside that same cloud. So the speed is exceptionally fast. We're not dependent upon, our network connectivity and those sorts of things. And this entire process is being done 100% with original high-res, ProRes 4x4 4K files. So some of you, if you've joined some of our previous webinars, may have seen a lot of this footage before and seen how we did this in the past. That was an entirely proxy workflow where we were remote and never actually worked with the originals or the high-res, and the high-res never touched the cloud, and we were working entirely in proxy. This is the exact opposite of that. 100% of our editorial is happening with original high-res 4K in the cloud. And that work is actually being done by Michael on a wireless laptop in his apartment. So he's PCOIP'd into that BeBop workstation. That workstation is quite a bit more capable than his wireless laptop is. And he's gone ahead and put together a full 4K edit for us here in a matter of, well, few seconds.
Well, thanks, Mike. Yeah, so I've just put a little bit of an edit together here. I'm kind of happy with it. I had no problems doing that, and I'm going to play it back and I want to review it. Great. So I had near perfect playback for that. That was fantastic. And what I can do now, if I go back to my Iconik page, I can actually upload the project file if I want. I want to save this project file into the collection, so I can do that. So I know that it's backed up into Iconik. And I can also render out this sequence now. So I will do that. And I want to keep it as high quality as possible at the ProRes 422. Make sure it's going to where I want it to. Yep. I'm happy with my edit, and I'm now going to export. And that should take just under a couple minutes. I think you're on mute, Mike. Can't hear you at the minute.
Oops.
We've all been there.
So what you'll notice now is that that project file actually that Michael checked in is already visible to me here in the US. So I'm all the way across the pond, and I can start tagging that with metadata. So I can say initial edit and see my S and hit update, tag it to organize it. Maybe I want to do that with the actual content itself. So I could go into our webinar collection here, and I'll make a new one called projects. And then I'll actually grab that project file and throw it into our projects section. So all of this stuff can be done by me completely remotely, even though he was the one doing the remote edit without too much issue. Now, the other thing I could do if I really wanted to is I can actually just download that project. So I could sit download and open it up. And we won't go into this in much depth in this webinar, but you'll see that it's actually opening up that Premiere project file. And once the Premiere project file is opened, it'll actually show all the media offline, but I do have the ability to reconnect that if I want to. So we can see that here I am in Detroit. A few seconds later, there's the project file with all the edits associated with it. Here's Iconik. Here's everything I can see in it. So the speed of kind of handing that off is pretty quick. And I'm not going to do this right now. I'm just going to show you how you would. I could go and say, hey, get all the proxies for all the originals. And that would allow me to go ahead and do a rough cut. I'd have to wait for the proxies to download on my side of the pond, but I could start to manipulate that edit he started in real time. I could make changes to that, and I could upload that back to Iconik, revision it, so on and so forth, and create new versions. But I'm going to guess during that time period, our render is actually done over on the other side of the pond. So I can let Michael share his screen again.
Yeah, absolutely. So that render's finished. I've got my file now. And what I can do is I can just upload that. I can drag and drop it into Iconik. And it's going to ask me, it's going to the right place, if I want to add any metadata. So I might say no, I just want to upload it. And then maybe I actually thought, oh, you know what, I actually did want to tag it with some stuff. So even while it's uploading, I can still tag webinar. S, like C. And this all becomes searchable in the system now. So if I was to jump back to the beginning and type in Michael, it's already found my asset. It's already found my project file while it's still uploading.
And I have that same ability. So if I take back over the screen share in Detroit, I can go ahead and say, share my screen. Let's close out Premiere here and hop back in. And even though that file is still in the process of uploading, I can actually see it. I can see all of the information that he's put into it. And I can start tagging this with metadata. So I can say master output from my cloud edit suite, update that metadata, and I can organize it as well. So I can hop back over here and say, hey, well, I want this to go into the masters collection, and I can add it over into that collection. So what we've functionally done is, all of that high-res data initiated into the cloud and can also essentially allow us to collaborate outside of that world without having to move that high-res out of the cloud ever. So we did our ingest directly into the cloud. Our proxies were transcoded in the cloud itself to deliver to us. And our project was edited in the cloud, and our master export was done on a cloud workstation and then delivered back to a cloud storage bucket. So this entire time, we haven't actually moved any high-res media, even though we've been working with this entire time across multiple continents, about 65 gigs worth of data for a 30-second little quick edit. So with that said, we've been talking for about 25 minutes here about how all of this stuff works. I think we want to open it up a little bit to questions. So we'll go ahead and, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and put them into the Q&A. And it looks like Dominic's asking, with the proxies, can you leverage those as proxies in Premiere as native secondary assets for increased performance? So the answer is, with that is yes. Now there are a couple of things you have to take into account there. Your Bebop workstation would have to see an ISG storage as well to do that. And we have an option within Iconik to not only save those proxies as web proxies, but they can also be saved as what we call Premiere Pro proxies, which then live on block level storage. And if that block level storage object exists inside of Iconik, when we send that asset in, it will also leverage those on-prem, well, not on-prem, but on block storage proxies in the Premiere Pro proxy workflow. That said, honestly, part of the benefit of doing a cloud edit workflow is that you can fire up exceptionally high power machines for short periods of time and not really cost as much. So the need for doing the Premiere Pro proxy kind of goes away if you're working in this method. That doesn't necessarily mean there isn't a ton of value to that in a lot of other methods of working within Iconik. So hopefully that answers that, that question. Do we have any other questions? It looks like we actually, okay, we've got another one here from Dylan. Says, can you please go into more detail about the cloud locations where the media is stored? Iconik Cloud Bucket versus where Bebop VM is seeing it. So I'll take the first part of that, which is where Iconik is seeing it from. And in our particular case here, Iconik saw the initial media from an IBM cloud storage bucket hosted by Base Media. And we are scanning directly from that. Our Iconik edge transcoder is talking directly to that storage to generate the proxies. What then ends up happening is that gets transferred into the Bebop side of things. And I'll let Damon actually answer that part of the question.
Sure, so that asset's been transferred onto a block storage volume that is possible to attach to multiple workstations in the cloud, and that is actually running in Azure. So the reason why we do it that way is because, of course, we often have multiple editors working on the same assets. So it's high performance cloud block storage, and it's a storage that's supported by Premiere. So yeah, you could have, like 3 editors, or in this case, both Mike and Michael editing off the same assets in Premiere at the same time, despite their locations.
Yeah, and if that same block storage, believe it or not, is seen by an Iconik storage gateway at any point, we can also map our Bebop Premiere workstations to see Iconik storage gateway workstations. And then there's no cloud transfer storage. You can actually do a singular transfer into those block storage locations from the storage gateway. And then all the edit workstations in Bebop would see the exact same media that's living on there. And when you clicked import, there would never be a transfer whatsoever. It would be directly accessible on the shared block storage inside Azure. So if you really look at it, we've not only spanned 3 different time zones, we've also spanned 4 different cloud providers in this demo as far as technologies that were used to make this all possible. So thanks for that question, Dylan. Hopefully we answered that for you. Do we have any other questions from the audience right now? Great, guys. Well, we really appreciate you joining. If there are further questions, you have our contact info here. And Michael, Damon, anything you want to leave anyone with before we head out?
Just thanks for joining, really, and I hope you enjoyed the vision into cloud editing. And yeah, and just get in touch if you have any other questions about anything that was shown today. That'd be great. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for joining, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.